Bosses can make or break any Souls-like game, so let me show you an example of how not to design a boss, courtesy of the Hushed Saint from Lords of the Fallen. What's up nerds and welcome to Endgame. I'm Hoops4, and today I want to show you everything that's wrong with the Hushed Saint, a pretty early boss in the new Lords of the Fallen. Having played a ton of Souls-likes, including Lies of P most recently, I have faced a ton of bosses, and the Hushed Saint does so much wrong in my opinion that I felt obligated to showcase it here. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this boss down in the comments, and feel free to check out my strength build video for beating this boss if you're having trouble. Let's go ahead and enter gaming.
Enter gaming.
I have a lot of mixed feelings towards Lords of the Fallen, ranging from its incredible atmosphere and world building to its suspect combat system filled with quite a bit of jank. Along those same lines is a boss lineup that has left something to be desired. Even the earliest bosses in the game just have some awkward movesets and at times unfair combos. Then I got to the Hushed Saint. Deep inside the Forsaken Fen, the Hushed Saint awaits. The Saint's large arena is in a bog that can have a limited runback if you use a Vistage Seed outside of the arena, which I strongly recommend. As with most of Lords of the Fallen, the atmosphere and setting here is really well done, and Unreal Engine 5 has done a great job at allowing environmental storytelling and world building. But the boss itself, well, I have strong feelings about. We all know how terrible it felt to chase the Elden Beast around the arena at the end of Elden Ring. Well, that's how this fight opens. The Hushed Saint rides his steed around the arena, dipping in and out of the swamp as he chases you down with his stampeding horse and swinging his halberd. If you use a summon for this fight, well, it will be nearly useless. The entire time the Saint is on his horse, he will spend most of the time targeting your summon, which will get hit by almost every attack. On top of that, the Saint is completely untouchable the entire time he is on the horse. The first phase lasts for the first quarter of his health bar, but I found he will ride his steed a set number of times regardless. So even after you get better at this fight and learn your openings, you still have to sit through a set number of disappearances and invulnerable horse sections. It feels downright awful to have the same number of those horse sections at the start of the fight regardless. The Saint will appear off his horse for a second, but if you have done enough damage to trigger the next horse section, he will disappear once again just to become invulnerable. On top of that, this first phase is so boring because you have to dodge only once per pass, but if you have a summon, it will be melted down instead by getting hit by every single attack with the inability to dodge. Lords of the Fallen's combat is built around a fast-paced system, and this intentional slowdown goes against the entire tone and speed of the game that it's been built upon. After this first phase, the Hushed Saint stays off his steed and 1v1s you instead, at least for the most part. This phase is a little bit less frustrating, just a little, but it still doesn't feel good. The Saint continuously dips into the swamp, only to reappear somewhere else entirely. He may go far away where you have to chase him, only with the risk of him summoning his horse to trample you once again. Otherwise, he disappears, losing your lock on him, and he will appear with a dashing or diving attack towards you with very little time to respond. Unless you happen to be facing the direction he appears from, you only have cues from the audio and maybe a splash from the corner of your screen to know which way to dodge. And did I mention that he has delayed attacks? Because it is entirely possible to dodge way early without memorizing his exact timings on every attack. So you can't see him, he instantly appears, and then your reaction time gets punished by these delayed attacks. Fair. His halberd also hurts a whole lot whenever it does make contact. He swings it wide, and circling can only help so much as the swings track a bit behind him, and good luck parrying him with his oddly timed attacks. He even has a stabbing move which can unfairly double hit you, once up close and once at the end of the halberd. And he can even apply the Frost status effect to eliminate your already depleted stamina. On top of all this, there are very few advantages that you can actually take. I used basically all charged attacks, and it took until about 10% of his HP left to trigger a real stagger. And getting to that 10% HP mark took way too long for this boss. It has a massive health pool. I am not one to complain much about bosses, even the most difficult ones usually have strategies that can work. Hush Saint is not the most difficult boss out there. In fact, most Souls games have way more difficult bosses. This video has not even been about how hard the Saint is, but rather how poorly designed he is for a critical path boss. And this isn't from his physical design, which I have no problem with, it's about the design of the fight itself. From the boring first phase full of running across the arena and vulnerability, to a second phase of unfair double hits, attacks, and more disappearing acts. The Hush Saint is just a fight with a disastrous design that all Souls devs should take note of. But what do you think? Is the Hush Saint as poorly designed as I think? If you enjoy this video, let me know with a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Hoops4, this is Endgame, and I'll see you nerds on the next one. Peace. Thank you for watching, right here on Endgame. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe for more content.